Hey. What is up, you guys? Yeah, Alchemist Ganjier here, and welcome to another episode of Enki's CannaCult. I hope you guys are having an awesome Monday. And if you're not having an awesome Monday, that you're getting ready to. Yeah, what is up? I already see some folks piling up in the chats. What up, Mary? What up, Scott? Yeah, what up, Latifa? Happy belated birthday. Now, guys, it has been quite the holiday so far. Lots of ups, lots of downs. Like what's holiday without a little bit of drama? But it's been some good stuff. I recently celebrated my birthday, and I got a little bit of a swag here and there in the a canna related that I'll be sharing with you guys today. But yeah, lots of good stuff. I think lots of good topics for today. Some interesting stuff. A topic that got my blood boiling a little bit, and also just more evidence to why cannabis is so awesome. So why don't we go ahead and get into it a little bit with our first story. We'll jump right into it, and then we'll kind of hop around a little bit today. This first article we're talking about, it comes from a new study from researchers at the Nationwide Children's Hospital and Ohio State University, I think. They published in the Biometrical Journal, which this study is addressing concerns that cannabis legalization might normalize impaired driving, right? Womp womp. And many of you who are avid cannabis consumers, as well as myself, we already know what the deal is as far as whether or not how we feel about driving regardless of the legalization, like of cannabis and whatnot, you know. But that aside, you know, this study, it utilized data from a national traffic safety survey that contrasted responses from states where medical cannabis was illegal. In this case, it was Kentucky and Tennessee against those from states where it was legal. And that like is Colorado, California, Massachusetts. There was like enough. They had quite a few states that they pulled from. Now, the analysis focused on responses to 4 questions from the Traffic Safety Culture Index survey, which it like queries participants about like just their general behaviors and attitudes towards driving after cannabis use, which they call like the DAMO. Now, the researchers employ a matched pairs design to control like for variations and like all that scientific mumbo jumbo. But basically, what they were able to do is they were able to really control the variations between the respondents and actually be able to isolate the impact of cannabis legal status towards attitudes about driving while impaired. Okay, so all that sciencey stuff. And what they found is that contrary to the fears that is being shoved down our throats currently, if you've been on a Virginia road at all in the last like 6 months, that legalization would increase tolerance towards driving under the influence of cannabis, and like that people would just be like suddenly like cannabis drunk drivers. And the study found that no evidence was supporting this hypothesis whatsoever. The robust statistical analysis revealed that there was literally 0 significant changes in attitudes or behaviors regarding driving after using cannabis in states where it was legalized compared to those where it remains illegal. The findings suggest that legalizing medical cannabis, at the very least, does not influence people's perception about the safety of impaired driving. Oh, wow. Right? Now, despite having these results, which are of no surprise to me, and I'm sure most of you, unless of course, like we have any non-cannabis users in our audience today, which is welcome. But despite these results, so the study does acknowledge that there are limitations in it, such as this is coming from like self-reported data, and its focus is on only like 2 southern states, when like we really would need like a few more to like really gauge a good interest. But like Kentucky and Tennessee aren't bad states to pull from, considering where they are. If you're doing any cross-country driving whatsoever, like your chances are you're going to be dealing with one of those 2 states at some point. So there's that, but like this does though indicate that there's a greater need for further research, and like just to confirm these already well-known findings across different regions. That's how we do. That's how we move things from hypothesis to theory. We gotta replicate this. We gotta get a bigger power. Now, one of the things that I think is worth taking into consideration is just like when like we're really like critically analyzing this the situation with the driving impairment, and the study robustly challenges this narrative that legalizing cannabis leads to more relaxed attitudes towards driving under the influence. And that's not what we need, because we know this. The politicians need this. These types of studies make it really difficult for a politician to try and say, or a sheriff who is also a politician, mind you, try and say that oh yeah, no, if we do full legalization, if we do recreational blah 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 blah, it's going to lead to this wanton people driving high all the time, and no one's going to care, blah blah blah. Well, we're already seeing that in medical states that's not that growing evidence that that's not the case, that we're actually starting to prove that this snowball, once it starts rolling, it there's not what they're trying to do, they're grasping at straws, because with cannabis decriminalization, cannabis legalization on the somewhat horizon, however distant it is, takes away a massive tool that the police have in their repertoire for pulling people over and searching your car and doing all this other stuff. It's like it's a giant coverall like law, like circumstance that allows them to like for lack of a better term, be lazy in terms of like both detective work, but also forming like appropriate laws that allow police to be able to do their job effectively to catch real criminals. Because that's the end of the day is like why you have racketeering like laws, right? Because we had criminals who were behaving in a manner that was detrimental to society, and there was no way for the police to legitimately catch them. Now, without them actually having to create new laws to actually address what they were doing. Like they didn't and I'm sure there were periods of time before they made these laws where they were trying to catch these like kingpins and all these other like organized like criminals like under different laws, under these other pretexts. But like the thing is that like for those organized criminals, they had so much money that they could pick apart why that law didn't really apply to the situation and get away free. And so they had to make new laws to address their crimes more specifically, so they couldn't get their way out of it. If we create like more like if we create like a more of a secure circumstance for laws, then we won't have as much of a need for using some of these other coveralls, like, oh, I smell cannabis like on you, so we're just gonna like raid your car, and for every 1 in 200 people that we like harass, like that we catch, makes it worth it. Like, no. We need to stop using what would be the words floating in my head, like jerry rigging, right? Jerry rigging, like MacGyvering. It's like trying to MacGyver a law to jerry rig a law rather than just make like the appropriate like legal followings for like, okay, if you're worried about a certain type of drug trafficking or gun trafficking or human trafficking, right? Then we need to examine that, right? Rather than trying to create more and more excuses to keep trying to persecute cannabis users. It's ridiculous. But that's why we have studies like this that counter this common argument used by opponents of cannabis legalization, who try to claim that it'll lead to more traffic incidents and generally poorer public safety outcomes related to driving. And cops have already admitted that they use it for other reasons. Right, I digress. We're gonna move forward. Now, another point to consider before taking our first very much needed rip of the sesh is we have to take also into consideration that the methodology used by these researchers, particularly that they used a very novel form of data collection, the matched pairs design, the causal inference methods. It provides a really solid foundation for a lot of these conclusions. So even though there isn't a lot of power in these studies, the ways that they're now examining post hoc data and going through this process of drawing inferences, they're actually able to draw very solid conclusions that while we do need to still prove with a bigger power study, a bigger powered study, they still offer reasonable, we can at least we have greater confidence in pursuing this path of confirming this stuff more for the scientific community that is still skeptical and wants to try and make up whatever excuse they can against cannabis. Now, with that being said, as the study itself notes, right, the self-reported data, and then of course the geographic focus issue with them really only looking at Tennessee and Kentucky are things that are worth just keeping in mind that there's more work that needs to be done. And this persistent belief in the dangers of driving while high, as reflected in broader public opinion polls, this also is a big indicator that even in states where cannabis is legal, there remains a significant public concern about its impact on driving safety. So we still have to keep educating people out there. While this does show that there isn't calamity when states legalize, This is also showing, though, that people's opinions about cannabis in relationship to like driving isn't changing too much, which kind of tells me that there is like a still a big barrier, a big divide between communities, which I can definitely attest to. Most of my like heavy in the cannabis community friends, like cannabis industry friends, like are very separate from like my non-cannabis like industry cannabis community friends, and like it's difficult to bridge them. It's difficult to bridge them sometimes. Now, ultimately, though, like to kind of wrap like this whole thing up here, this study, it is an amazing contribution to all this ongoing discussion about cannabis's impact on public safety, because the worst thing we could do is to stop talking about it, right? Like until we are all on the same page about like how safe cannabis is, like we can't stop talking about it. And so this is like really just great, just like another notch on the evidence belt that legalizing cannabis does not alter like public attitudes like towards risky behavior, like impaired driving more, and also like studies like this study in particular needs to be integrated into policy discussions. So when we're like advocating in Richmond, when we're talking to politicians, this study is one of the studies that we should be referencing. Okay. This, and just as like a reminder, this study is this was published in, let's see, yes, this was in the Biometric Journal. Okay, the effects of cannabis on driver safety, which was you can like find it on Reddit, and I can include a link like in the comments if anybody wants one. Now, before we get into our next one, I'm gonna say take a moment, check to see what comments are rocking, and before we also take a look at this Tangie Haze. Oh, yeah, I hear ya. Yeah, what up, Skunk Ape? Yeah, what's up? Hey, what up, Mark? How you doing, bro? Yeah, what up, Daniel? Makes me sick. Okay, said makes me sick when they talk about driving high. Never had a single issue driving in the 4 years of driving high every day. I'm with you, Daniel. I'm a huge promoter. What up, Dustin? How you doing, bro? Matt, you ain't late. Yeah, you on time as soon as whenever you get here. Yeah, glad you joined us. I agree that like it's so bogus. Like I'm a huge proponent that people. You're not going to find people only on cannabis, like to the point of overconsumption where they shouldn't be driving, you know, like behind the wheel of a car. The very nature of cannabis, like when you've overconsumed, it can go one of two ways, right? You're either going to have like paranoid anxiety that has you freaking out and like not wanting to start or touch anything, and you're just like, oh gosh, or you're gonna be like super comatose and you're just gonna be like, bro, I am not driving anywhere right now. And you're more likely to get into like your backseat and take a nap or something, like, or like go walk somewhere and get some food. Like it's just, it more shows just like the more education that needs to happen. That's what that is. Now, yeah, I'm really excited, guys. I linked up with BeanScoutVA a little while back, and they hooked me up with some of this some Tangie Haze. And guys, I love Tangie things. I do, and I love hazes. So when I heard Tangie Haze, I got so excited. And it has been, oh my gosh, it is. I mean, immediately there's like orange rind, but also orange flesh, like not just like the peel, but also like some of the flesh of like orange. And like there's also this musky, like hashy, like kind of like almost like a yeasty and dank undertone. Like I say yeasty and dank because like I get this kind of like cool, like deep earthy, like that's like there, but then right along with it, like almost just clinging to it, is like this almost like a roll. Like it's very bready. We're the Gorilla Gas review. Dustin asked about the Gorilla Gas again. I'm not even gonna front, homie. I'm not sure what Gorilla Gas you're talking about. There was a gas truffle I reviewed, and there was a Bahama Bust Down. I remember the first time I think I saw you ask about the Gorilla Gas, and I was Bahama Bust Down I was reviewing. I mean, I would love to review Gorilla Gas if there's anyone that's been growing it. But yeah, I'm a little lost on that one, and I feel so bad if I actually do have it, and like maybe you gave it to me, like and I just forgot. You said Rob, like Coakley? Oh, wait, or do you mean Dooley? Oh boy. Well, okay. If there's someone that has a Gorilla Gas for me, I'm going to. Dustin, you and I are gonna figure it out, and we're gonna get it, and it's gonna get reviewed on here. Okay, like that's for sure. That's for sure. Gosh, though, I am so excited for this Tangie Haze, though. Yeah, guys. Yeah, let's see. Let's get a close up on this thing, because it is just looking lovely. In fact, we may even be able to get into one of our first tools. Boop. Now, structure. See it? Good density. Its density is very like indica morphologically, but the aroma on this is very, very it's very uplifting. It's very nice. It is just a dream to smell. Here we're gonna let's see. We're gonna get into this just a little bit. There we go. Oh, there it is. That's the money shot. All right, here. Let's go ahead and get a close look on here. I've got a new magnification tool that I'm gonna be showing off, but I haven't quite opened it yet. I'll show you guys in just a little bit. But yeah, let's go ahead and for now at least, get a closer look at this thing. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that is lovely. Yeah, here, hold on. Let's put this one down and get close into that. Yeah, okay, that's... Now, she's got a good look on her. We're going to go ahead and break some of this down and get us a little ripski. What is everyone else toking on tonight? Oh, wow. Yeah, like as this breaks down, there's this like really nice funk that's coming out. A funk that I easily associate with like with some of those like brighter, like, you know, when something's like really lemony and then it kind of gets like almost like mustardy after a while. You know, that kind of mustard funk. That's what I'm smelling, a little bit of that mixed with like floral. Like as I'm just breaking the nugs apart, let alone like the actual full breakdown. But yeah, let's go ahead and let's see what we're rocking here. Oh, Rob did give it to me? Yeah, Dooley. Oh, actually, I don't... Yeah, what is up, Roger? Yeah, it is beautiful. It smells even more beautiful, man. I'm with you. I wish we had smell-o-vision right now, because, like, I mean, first of all, this lovely, like, some lovely purple, and Oh yeah, there's definitely some of that kind of mustardy kind of funk on it that you get from things that are really citrusy sometimes. But there's also a very strong floral on this, like very, very strong floral on this. I mean, honestly, this almost reminds me of like a slightly like sour Jack Herer in a lot of ways. Like just like that white widowy kind of floral, creamy, citrusy, sour. But I like the complexity on this. I like the complexity on this. Yes, it is. It is a light, nice looking nug. You know, Bean Scout did some decent work. Bean Scout did some decent work. Now let's see how it tastes, you guys. Okay, let's see how it tastes. How well of a translation are we gonna have here, y'all? Now, all right. That music is a little up, huh? That's okay. No one's complained about the sound. Like, yeah. All right. Yeah. Let's go ahead and get a rip in, y'all. Hope everybody is ready for some token. Let's see some 420s in the chats, y'all. Bam. All right. Yo, look at that. Look at that. Just that lovely purple. Almost it matches this dragon very, very well. Yeah. Now, all right. Cheers, you guys. Very hashy. Like a kind of like floral aftertaste, although the floral gets. Oops, sorry about that. Yeah, very. Wow, just wow. Very, very floral. Very hashy. I'm sorry. Very, very, very hashy. Like right out the gate, and then there's just like this floral back on it, with a little bit of like that sourness. Like that sour is lingering in like the top of my soft palate. Man, that's nice, really smooth. I gotta say, I am shocked by how much hashy or hazy forward it is with like how floral and citrusy it is, like smelling it on the grind. Like I expected to get like a little more of that, but at the same time though, this is a unique blend where like not too often do I have a cultivar that's like so citrusy and so hashy hazy at the same time. And so I'd be curious, maybe if I hit this, like the next time I hit it, if I hit it with a match and brought the temp down a little bit or kept the torch way off of it, maybe some of the more of those like flavors will come through. But that aside, we'll see how it rolls out. There's already this immediate kind of like lift in it, like that typical like haze. Like this reminds me of how purple haze like starts out, you know, versus this nice lift and a bit of a cloudiness and a kind of like no, I definitely dig. I definitely dig. Now, oh, okay. Yeah. So the first, stories or products. God, man, this Tangie Haze got my ass. I had a plan, and now I'm deviating from it. So okay, so yeah, we'll finish the stories and then we'll check out some of these products. These other products now. And like other news, right? We have I came across this this scientific review that was published in the the International Journal of Neuropsychopharmacology, and they have in it presented really compelling evidence that CBD has significant antidepressant properties. Now, there have already been some mild research into CBD and its therapeutic effects, but there wasn't any real strong any real strong consistent correlations due to various issues with studies in the past and like sampling populations and whatnot. But researchers from the Nantong University, which is the first People's Hospital of Yancheng, and the Jianying Hospital of Traditional Chinese Medicine, they conducted a thorough analysis of recent experimental and clinical studies. And what they had concluded after looking at all of these is that CBD's antidepressant effects are likely due to its ability to reduce inflammation and enhance neurogenesis, guys, right? So that's the growth and development of nervous tissue and whatnot. From a psych perspective, increasing neurogenesis in the brain can have a substantial effect on depressive conditions, especially because clinical depression, prolonged depression, oftentimes causes areas of the brain to start dying and shutting down. So if CBD is allowing for new nerve tissue to grow in those regions, maybe. Right? Now, the review details that CBD interacts with several receptors in the body that are crucial to mood regulation and stress responses, all throughout the endocannabinoid system too. And in this, they looked at more than just the CB1 and CB2 receptors, but they also looked at the GPR55 receptors, which is some of you guys are a little more hip on the endocannabinoid system I have already heard about, and the 5-HT1A receptor, which is actually that is more serotonin interaction, but the fact of the matter is that CBD also interacts with this receptor. Now these interactions, right, that suggest that CBD's therapeutic effects may be achieved through its modulation of these diverse biological pathways. CBD, just in that study that we did, we covered a month and a half or so ago, that found that certain phytocannabinoids and synthetic cannabinoids can kill cancer on their own without actually even having to interact with the endocannabinoid system. That's what they're finding now with CBD, that it is having widespread other effects on other receptors in the body. Now this action at multiple receptor sites underscores that there is a complex pharmacokinetic interaction that could allow CBD to exert stabilizing effects on mood and emotions. Now the article, they were also trying to emphasize that while CBD is showing promise as a treatment for depression, that it's also really, really safe as well, compared to a lot of other antidepressants out there. I'm sure many of you are familiar, anyone who has ever taken an antidepressant or seen the antidepressant commercials, that when you hear about the side effects, one of the side effects for an antidepressant is suicidal ideation and severe depression. That's always something that has made me very uncomfortable with antidepressants, and even discussing them with with clients when I worked in the mental health space as a counselor. Just because we start working with these drugs, it can always go one way or the other, and oftentimes people start experiencing things when they're taking medication and they don't think to report it. So it gets very complicated. It's very sticky very quickly. Now with CBD, these types of things aren't the same in their risk. This is a significant advantage over traditional antidepressants, and all of those challenging side effects that can occur. Now, the review does call for more precise studies, like just like we were talking about the other study. Like there's so like it's just like there needs to be more research done. We need to study more. We need to do more studies, so that we can fully understand the optimal dosing and long-term safety of CBD. Because like we have found that like when you just try to go hard in the yard with CBD alone, like you can cause like organ issues. And stuff like that kind of highlights, that like there is a need for ongoing research so that we can really like harness the full potential like of cannabis. Because like I feel like if like with taking like this one antidepressant, like I run the risk of like suddenly having incredibly acute depression and then having like ideation to harm myself, like versus like, oh, if I take way too much like of this, like it could cause like organ like damage and whatnot, which like if you take way too much of anything, it could cause organ damage, like I think like I'd be worth like exploring that a little bit, like in it's like this detailed like so this article is like helping serve for us, I think, is that like it's once again like it's something that's going to be helping with like explain like to politicians, helping them understand like how CBD can serve like as an antidepressant, because like this like learning more about this and also like getting more awareness out there so that people are talking to their doctors more about it. It gets a buzz at the next medical conference, like people are bringing this up, because like the more we can study this, the better that we can develop like targeted treatments that benefit those who have not found relief through conventional medications. Like when it comes to dealing with depression, I am, if you're like willing to like there's like it's a dangerous situation, and it's worth it's worth taking whatever steps you can to stay safe. But I also feel like the least harmful and the least harmful steps that we can take will be like the best, man. I will say this Tangie Haze is already doing quite nice. I feel this like really like it's funny, like I don't necessarily feel like tired or really like pinned back by it, but I do feel like I'm now like walking through like waist deep water, and like my eyes feel heavy. I don't feel tired, but my eyes feel heavy, like I need like eye drops or something like that. But yeah, but don't do the sustained like individual pack drops right now though. Like little side note, little PSA out there, if you like to do the individual packet like drops or whatever, if you got any of that stuff within the last like 6 months, like throw it out, because like they got like fungus and bacteria in it, they can make people go blind. If you want to know more, like check like my Facebook, Enki's CannaCult. Like I posted an article like about it and like whatever, but like bruh. What I also like about this study is that that this is like really challenging a lot of the like misconceptions about the safety and effectiveness of CBD, especially in treating like mental health issues, like because when we talk about cannabis with like mental health, which I have very cautiously like begun doing myself, like a lot of skeptics oftentimes raise concerns about potentials for addiction and like other serious side effects, well, like it's hard to get addicted to CBD, it seems to feel dumb just saying that, but compared to like a benzodiazepine, like I mean, like it's ridiculous that I have to defend like cannabis, like THC containing cannabis, like when like there are like benzos and like other stuff like that out there. But like CBD though is like a great little like side shuffle, because with showing now that it has like efficacy for depression, like it kind of takes the wind out of the people's sails who want to try and like badmouth like people like wanting to try and turn to cannabis for that. Like, I mean, as long as like they're doing it like, you know, with guidance, for just trying to be like drug seeking or something, which, I mean, I feel like it's kind of like a hypocrisy, the double standard that's there, that people that are using cannabis, like they're the drug seeking, but people that are like, you know, like very like loyally taking like their antidepressants, which are like also very addictive, like they're getting like treatment and help, when like I'll tell you, I have had so many psychiatrists in the past, because like I have, like, as someone that's worked in mental health, I worked in mental health for over 10 years. Like it becomes like something that becomes important is that you also seek out mental health treatment yourself to help keep you in a healthy mental state while dealing with like the constant stress of having okay, like when you're having a bad day, right? And you, like, let's say you got into a fight with like your partner or with your kids or with like a coworker or a friend or whatever, and the stress that you get from that interaction, right? Imagine that's your job, right? Like it is like, now granted, we have tools to allow us to, you know, deal with these things better, but we still experience it and feel it. So it's important to know that to seek help, or you end up burning out or going crazy or, you know, whatever. Like, but like, you know, I also like taking like Adderall, like, you know, like I was prescribed it as a kid, like, and like I took it up until COVID, when I decided to like, you know, like seek alternative like medicine from like big pharma. But with this race, like I would have psychiatrists like wanting to constantly up my dose. Like if I wanted to up my dose, it was just easy snapping my fingers. Like wanting to prescribe me other things. Like it when they talk about like medical guidance, like yes, like you can have some great practitioners out there, but let's not get it twisted. Like they're all like just like glorified drug dealers at the end of the day, unless they are like working hand in hand with like a therapist, like with you. like and no psychiatrist is going to meet with a patient on a regular basis long enough to be able to give them the effective like treatment, or to even get effective idea of where they're at psychologically, to know how their drugs should be adjusted, because like they're trying to get it all done in like 15 to 30 minute sessions, when like proper therapy, especially when it's only happening like once a month, once every 3 months, should be at the least an hour, like if not longer. But they're just about bang bang bang, just keep it moving, you know. But that's also why you're gonna see a lot of kickback, because because for all the drugs that they prescribe, like as long as they keep doing that, they get paid. They're six figures deep into six figures oftentimes for doing all that stuff. But like the second you stop going to them, because you're using to effectively like cannabis to help you, that they themselves like aren't prescribing or can't prescribe, and then all of their clientele were to do that, like, and if they were to effectively like find like alternative treatments, guess what? They're out of a job. Right. So we have to understand like where all priorities are, but it's also why it's important to work with somebody that fully understands what it is that you got going on and what you're going through. Like some psychiatrists are supportive of you using like cannabis with their guidance if you disclose with them, but there are others that will tell you straight up the second you tell them that you're smoking cannabis that they won't even do anything with you, that they'll basically blackball you from treatment until you swear off cannabis because drug interactions and and yes, there are some instances of drug interactions, but all of that could be monitored. Like I went on lithium as one of my treatments and I had to be monitored. I had to get my blood levels taken every week or two. That they can do it. It's just that there are people that are bigoted against it, either because they're scared that it'll mess with their money, or they've got some deeper prejudice against it, which oftentimes ties back to it messing with their money. What are we doing here? One of the things though that I have to iterate, as well as this study iterates, and the last study iterates, is that it's a call for additional research. Because when we do that, it reflects a responsible approach to cannabis-based therapies. It makes it more difficult for these psychiatrists that are all anti it to try and dispute it. Because you have here scholarly work that is following their rules, like not to say that they made the rules, but the rules that they themselves follow and respect. um and this also helps us all gain a deeper understanding of CBD's mechanisms and how it interacts with our bodies, but also why we need to be kind of mindful. This gives deeper insight as to why taking too much CBD can be not great for us sometimes, knowing that it interacts with a half dozen other receptors in our endocannabinoid system and in our body. And causes a different effect, including a serotonin receptor, which I vaguely recall reading some time ago about an instance of taking too much CBD and it creating something similar to serotonin syndrome. It's just kind of all foggy off the top of my mind, right now that it just came to me. It didn't come to me while I was researching this, I'll find it. I'll post it, for sure. That's why I like this study. Really, really awesome. And yeah. Yeah. So let's pause for a second. See how y'all doing. Blue Rich Home said, gotta find a good tasting 1-to-1 that hangs outdoor here in light of that research. Yeah. Now finding that hangs outdoor. You mean doing your oh wait, I got what you meant. When I thought hangs outdoor, I thought you were like, oh, hang drying outdoor. I don't have many cultivars that'll do well hang drying outdoor, but high brain, I know what you mean though. Yeah, they can do well outdoor. And I agree. We need more 1-to-1s. We need more 1-to-1 cultivars, 2-to-1 cultivars. They are so underrated. One of my favorites, some of my favorite smoke when in my time in North Cal was some 1-to-1 cultivars that one of my mentors, Aaron Verney, brought from Washington. Ooh, I think it was Washington or it was Oregon. My memory's kind of hazy right now. Okay. But yeah, no, I gotta say, off of that small, fairly just flavor bowl that we got with the Tangie Haze, really nice hit. Feel it all behind the eyes. It has a nice, just very kind of tangy, hey, it's honestly, I keep saying tangy, because it does have that kind of lift to it, and I think I keep Freudian slipping on it because I'm focusing on the haze, but there is this kind of uplift that reminds me of Tangie. It honestly, this is a really, really nice split between what I would expect from a Tangie and what I would expect from a haze. Bean Scout, you did well. You did well. With the aroma, now with the texture on it, it's always it was bull trimmed. Although I am it still has pretty reasonable form to it. Its bracts weren't totally erased or anything like that. Yeah. That is. I knew that's what you meant. The pest resistant, low PM, low bud rot. Yeah. And fun fact, actually, I'm working with Mount Zion a seed co-op right now. On developing or improving the genetics for just that end. So a little plug to Mount Zion. They have been running genetics seed ground like season after season for like a couple of years now in our specific like terroir, or like I guess specifically like in like the Boone's Mill area. And this past year was a huge focus on what plants were showing the most resistance to WPM, to bud rot, to Pythia, to just like all sorts of stuff, while like with a field that was committed to no IPM being done. We had run a year where we were doing it, and then the next year it was left to fend for itself, and we basically were picking from the strongest and the ones that had the best reactions. So we got some really good stuff from it this year. Really, really good genetics this year. Yo, what's good, Alex? Yeah, how you doing, buddy? Now I am. Oh boy. I might get into a couple of these products before we get into the next story, because one of them is like cold and I don't want it to get warm. And also because this next story, it gets me a little hot. And I know I'm gonna go off on it a little bit because it makes me mad. But because I knew that I would get so riled up, I went ahead and like prepared my response like ahead of time. But it's regarding a New York Times article that was recently published. That is just fear mongering. You said that coming out of the Foxy field, some CBD analysis. Yes, it is coming out of the Foxy field. Yeah, I am. Yeah. I think what you're talking about. Oh gosh, that is one thing. That is one thing is that oh Jesus, my high brain. No, actually there isn't. I think there's one. There's one. There's one or two that like the rock a ratio, but I don't know if it's exactly 1-to-1. But my high brain just ran off with the whole breeding for our environment, and I forgot about the 1-to-1 part. Man, it's the haze. I blame the haze. I do. But yeah, so the first thing I want to check out here, I'm sure some of you guys have like already have seen this, but I'm just geeking about it because like local pride. And that is this Albemarle Cannabis Company, a Mountain High like seltzer, this wild berry. This is like completely legal within like Virginia law. Like it's below the the THC total limit. It's got like 2 milligrams of THC and 4 milligrams of CBD in it. And I bought some of these while I was at the Fire on the Mountain festival. And they had like a couple of different flavors. But like I went to I tried their lemon lime one when I was there. It was pretty dope. This is like a seltzer. This is like think like White Claw and stuff like that. It's a seltzer that's cannabinoids instead of alcohol. And I hadn't tried the wild berry yet though. Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, no, it's wild berry. It's got like a really subtle flavor to it. Yeah, like it's got 6 grams of sugar in it. And like no like artificial like sweeteners or anything like that. But yo, it's pretty dope. And like I met the guy that makes them, and he's really, really cool. Like he does it all himself. Like he's he not only as a business is he creating an awesome product, but he's also kind of helping navigate and understand the path that a business will need to take to be in the cannabis space, because me and him were talking for like 45 minutes about like just like all the different like things that he has to do, that like everyone's aware of him in like the government as far as regulatory bodies go. He's not like flying under the radar. Like they know exactly who he is, and he said like some of them don't like him because he knows the law better than they do, and as a result he can legally sell these. These can be in stores. Like these can be in stores. Like it's dope. Like this is a 100% like legal recreational product that falls within Virginia's stringent guidelines. And yeah, with like 2 milligrams of THC and 4 milligrams of CBD, this is a 2 to 1 or like a 1 to 2, like and I'm not gonna get any type of like like messed up on this, but like if I got like a 6-pack of these and like I drank those, I'd probably be feeling really, really chill, like, I mean, I'm also somebody that likes seltzers. I like seltzer, like carbonated, like water, stuff like that. So yeah, it's really dope. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. So yeah, shout out to like they're actually I think he mentioned that they're actually getting ready to go through a name change. And I can't remember. I think the drink is staying the same, Mountain High Seltzer. But the Albemarle Cannabis Company, he said that he's actually going to change it to something that's like a little more innocuous. Although I told him I love the name though, Albemarle Cannabis Company. It just like it's like we need to embrace and take pride in like ourselves. But I get for like business purposes, like it's probably better to have a DBA or something like that. But yeah, that's really dope. And also this I got these, like I've seen these on like TikTok and stuff like that. I got these they're honey puff storage glasses. All right, yo, what up, Scott? Yo, what you dabbing on, bro? Yo. All right, so check this out, right? Wow. So we got these glasses, right? Like very, very stylish, very stylish. Okay, I got a lot of gear on right now, so this isn't exactly going to like fit like the best. Actually, hold on. Right. There we go. Yeah. Yeah, very dope. Okay, so I mean they're like pretty decent, like like go ahead like glasses, very similar to the ones that I typically rock. Obviously a little bit darker in color, but I'm still digging them. They're still green, right? And what we have here inside the arms, right? In fact, here we can swap to the close up real quick just to see. But so we got here, right? This little button, right? And you push this down and pop. Yo, you have a joint holder that's like the length of this arm here. If you can see, it's like it's about the length of my finger, so you can get a decent size like joint there. Now it's not like it's not sealed or anything like that. If you're like in the water and you get splashed really hard, the water's probably gonna get in there. Or if like they fall into the water, they probably will. Like, but this is really one of those perfect situations for like when you want to have you rolled up a couple of joints and you don't really have a good place to put them for the moment. You just need to store them temporarily. And right there, you're not going to lose them. You might forget that they're there the first couple of times you use it, right? Like find them like a week later. But like so very, very dope. I have not had a chance to like really like try them out. I feel like it's one of those where the opportunity will like present itself. But maybe that's what we'll do. Yeah, I'll do that next week. See like roll a couple of joints and see how well they fit in there. But also shout out to my boy, my friend, Tim Whitlock. He hooked me up with this really freaking awesome portable microscope. Okay, like super dope, super freaking dope. It's a digital microscope that more or less like acts like a little like magnifying glass. Yeah. Oh, that's bright. That's really bright. Yo, but how dope is that? How dope is that? Actually, hold on. I wonder if this will actually work. Like to look at some flower. Do you think if we try to use a camera through a digital magnifying glass, if we'll actually be able to like actually see something? Oh my god, I just opened up the Tangie Haze again and I just got hit with like, god, it's like that. It's like as this cures, I think the more of that floral is probably going to add to this like to this zesty like hashy kind of like it's gonna, I think it might end up smelling like shit or something. I mean, in a good way. Okay, let's see if this is gonna work. I don't know if it will, but we're gonna try. All right. Okay, so. Oh, wow, it can get stupid close. That's why. Whoa. It gets I like you can take it like stupid close is what I mean. But what it can also do is it can also like when you click, it can take pictures, right? This button right here, like yeah, look at that. It just took a picture of that. That was a bad picture, but this is the demo. That is pretty cool. That is very dope. That is very dope. That is going to make certain aspects of looking at flower way easier. Because I mean when I'm using my loop, I have like a 90x loop, and that's like the loop that oftentimes I'll attach to the camera to look at things, and that loop like it blows things up so much, but you're also like so close up in there that like it's just like it's its own little tiny world in and of itself, and you can kind of get lost in it like for a while. But like when you're in there for a while, like you come back out of it and you're like eyes gotta like refocus and stuff. And I think that'll be really cool. I feel like a device like this is going to be absolutely clutch in any grow. Like when you're wanting to look at your stuff up close, this is going to allow you to very easily just bloop look at how close, like look at you like your trichomes, or at least like know what area very easily that you want to then take a closer look at. Because I feel like with this in hand, I could use this to get a good idea of what the flower looks like, and then when I see a spot I want to take a much closer look at, then I can get my 90x out. And yeah, because as you've seen with the camera, when I pair that with the camera, it's like it's difficult to beat. Like you got 90x times 5, you know, like like what, like 450x. Like, I think. Oh, I hope I did that math right. Yeah. But yeah, super dope. Very dope. You'll definitely be looking forward to like me posting more, like I'll be posting more pictures with like that little microscope because, or magnifying glass, because it also, like I said, it has like a portable SD drive in there too. So I'm gonna be able to take all kinds of like a bunch of pictures with it. So yeah, very cool. And oh yes, and last and not least, like I so far as I feel like this counts as canna community because like we all love snacks, munchies, love that stuff. And I was like on my way back on my birthday. My birthday's the day after Christmas. And I was on my way back. We were from Maryland, and we stopped at this like random convenience store, and while I'm checking out, I see what looks to be like Shaq, or Mr. Clean, I don't know. And I took a closer look, and I see Shaqalicious extra large gummies. We have got to try this. And I wanted y'all to see. Because hopefully these are good. But I want y'all to see here for further reaction of this. Whoa. They had 2 different types. I'm not gonna lie. It smells kind of like alcohol. I opened it up and it smelled a little boozy. Hope they didn't go like bad or something. Dude, these are huge. Look at this. It's Shaq's face. It's like the size of my thumb. Okay. So the flavors are peach, berry punch, and orange. So I'm guessing this is peach. Okay. I actually don't know what flavor it is. But it's like a Swedish fish with like combined with like an orange slice. I'm not gonna lie. This bangs. Yeah, this bangs. Yeah, this goes hard. Man. These go really hard. Manufactured in Canada. That's where Canada makes like some of the best texture gummies. Alright. Okay. So we got some sugar in us. Oh! We're gonna smoke some more weed before getting into this story. And it'll hopefully keep me level. So this New York Times article, guys, was it as America's cannabis use grows, so do the harms. And if it did not try to drag back up every reefer these three ladies traveled the whole country trying to find every bad story they could possibly find. That's okay though. We were professional about it. She like they went ahead and made theirs, and I got my response. We're gonna pack some of this up. We'll go our regular size bowl here for this. Yeah, we'll see how this degrades from here. Yeah, it's gonna be like NASCAR, you know, like you think you're going for the racing when what you're really going to is to like for the inevitable like crash. No, that's fun. That's what kids say. Actually, I've learned to like just NASCAR, like for what it is. Like it's one of those things where like it takes time for it to click for some people. For me, I was one of them. Oh man, dude, another one of these are out. It just fell out. I should probably eat it. Oh wait. Okay. These are really good. Oh, that was the okay. That one's definitely the orange one, which means that other one that doesn't taste like peach is the peach one. Because that was definitely not it. Okay. Bam. Got us. Pretty good. All right. Yo. All right, guys. Let's do a rip ski. And cheers, everyone. Temperature matters. I probably had the torch just a tiny bit too close to it, maybe, and just the fact that also matches burn at such a that was good timing for me to start talking. Yeah, I got the volume back right. Yeah, that was oh my gosh. I mean, one, right, like if there's more flower, there's more opportunity for there to be more aromatic compounds that weren't like combusted. But you know, with the natural lower temp of the match, because I still, even with the match, I still kept that a distance away. That was much more of the rind was coming out there, that much more of that tangy flavor. That like the hashy haze was definitely there, especially and like the more in the second hit and the last hit for sure. But the overall progression in it was like I definitely got much more of that, like that tangy and much more of that floral. So this is definitely one of those cultivars that is a temperature sensitive one for sure. I am willing to bet that like in a joint it would have a really interesting flavor progression, because I imagine it would start off with that really nice like floral like hashy, so long as no one like, you know, messes the tip up, and then it would just progress into like this like more and more just hashy kind of like rise. So it would be the energetic kind of like euphoric, and then it would get like whoa, psychedelic, like just like not remembering stuff and just like being in the moment and whatnot. So very cool. Like I can feel it now, like trying to trap me in the moment. It said hand green crystal ball, hand orange covering eyes, trophy yellow smiling. I don't know what that means, but it sounded like almost like a haiku. Okay, so wow, that brought in a nice, like a really nice vibe. A really, really nice vibe, man. Tangie Haze. So, it's this article. As America's cannabis use goes up, so do the harms. Published by the New York Times. It explores the increasing concerns among healthcare professionals regarding the adverse effects of cannabis as its use has become more prevalent in the United States. Now, the article underscores the misconception that cannabis is entirely non-addictive and harmless, highlighting that a significant number of users suffer from serious health issues, including dependency, psychological effects, physical illnesses, such as cannabinoid hypermeiosis syndrome. Now, the report reveals that about 18 million Americans exhibit symptoms of cannabis use disorder, with a notable increase among younger adults. Now, I should say that it is really important to also keep in mind that the criteria, which like I'm probably going to say again later, but the criteria for cannabis use disorder, there's like 11, and you only need 2, and of those, like having a consuming and having a growing tolerance are 2 of them, and having anyone in your life that doesn't want you to consume is another. Like a lot of the things in there are very arbitrary. Like there's enough in there that like anybody who smokes weed in any capacity could be circumstantially like accused of cannabis like a use disorder, and that like it wouldn't be so clear cut that there would actually have to be a debate about it, which understandably would create a lot of problems, considering that like a lot of people also like use cannabis as a medicine, and I am a staunch advocate for that all like cannabis users are medical users. They just, you know, like just some are doing it with more medical guidance and more like direct medical thoughts than others are. Now, like this article, right? It also points out that while cannabis is beneficial for some medical patients, the surge in its recreational use and the potency of new cannabis products are leading to increased incidences of severe vomiting, psychosis, and other health complications. Okay. Now, okay, despite its legalization in many states, right, the article suggests that there is insufficient regulation and lack of comprehensive health risk communication to consumers and medical practitioners, which I agree with. And like, there is this gap in regulation and understanding that like purportedly like, and this is like where they deviate is that they purportedly say that like it leads to preventable health crises and misconceptions about the drug's safety, suggesting that because we understand so little about it, we think that it's like safer than it is, but that's that they're basically using our own very logic to against it. But like when we're saying that they're like, when we're trying to say like, yes, there is enough information, we need to know more to kind of show that it's like that it's safe, or why you shouldn't be trying to ban it. They're over there saying like, oh yeah, no, we don't understand enough about it, like, and like to show that it's totally like not safe. Which I'm for. Go ahead, try and prove it. But the claims presented in the article, while grounded in interviews and some epidemiological data, like they may paint an overly grim picture of cannabis use, potentially skewing public perception against its use, even in beneficial contexts. This article is so like one-sided, like you they're so clearly against cannabis, it's not even funny. And right now it's important to balance like these types of reports with understanding that millions of individuals use cannabis safely and effectively, whether for medical or recreational purposes. I'm gonna give like a overall like overview of my thoughts, and then I've got like 6 critical points that this article I think fails on, and also like if anyone tries to like bring this article up, like what you can also point out, okay. And at first, this New York Times article emphasizes the potential for addiction and adverse effects without equally highlighting the context in which cannabis has been a significant and effective treatment for conditions like chronic pain, PTSD, like all kinds of stuff. The therapeutic benefits of cannabis, supported by now like ever-growing but already now substantial research, like should not be overshadowed by focusing solely on these like handfuls of like negative outcomes. Second, the mention of cannabinoid hyperemesis syndrome, like while like yes, valid, there are people that have that, it lacks a comparative analysis with the side effects of legal substances like alcohol, prescription medications, like which can have like that can also like that can lead to all types of severe health issues, and they have higher rates of addiction. Like a more balanced approach would be to present these risks alongside those of other legal substances to avoid unfairly signaling out cannabis. Like the assertion that legalization has led to public health crisis. It could be seen as a really premature conclusion, especially um, considering all the other states that aren't having like so many issues as what they pointed out at a couple of like hospitals. But like many states have like, while they have indeed faced challenges with this rollout of legalization, like that these more like they aren't presenting life-threatening issues so much as they are like presenting like teething problems um, that can be like addressed way better through regulatory framework. And I mean like public education programs. I mean, like if people just knew better, like there was like one woman in the article that was talking about like how she started to get the beginning effects of cannabinoid hypermeresis syndrome, and like they told her to take more, to smoke more weed and eat more edibles. Like that wouldn't be a smart thing to do. Um, hey, like, but like, yeah, public education, like more, you know, like Ganjiers out there, less idiot bud tenders. But that's in no way like that's not like a reason to reverse course on legalization, like they're suggesting. Um, and like lastly, the suggestion that the cannabis causes psychosis, that needs very careful interpretation. Yes, while there is some association between heavy use and mental health issues, like it's often like difficult to establish a direct like a causal relationship because you're like looking at the chicken or the egg here. Oftentimes, like I said before, I don't believe that there is such thing as like a recreational cannabis user. I believe that we're all like medical cannabis users. It's just that like some people don't like realize exactly or like specifically thinking about what it is that they're trying to address with it, but that it is addressing something for them. There are many factors, including pre-existing mental health conditions, can contribute to such outcomes as like psychosis and like a mental health like emergencies. The complexity of cannabis's impact on mental health requires like a really nuanced discussion rather than like any type of definitive statements. I am like working with the mental health population like for 10 years, like 10 plus years. Like people are looking for relief. There are so many people that are suffering in a way that you can't really see, but when you learn to like look the right way, you can see. Like you see that like that person is disheveled and their hair looks like they haven't like like washed it in a while, and they seem to be like a little like a jumpy or aggressive like that. Like no, it's not like that's just the way they love to live. Like that, like they're suffering like that, like with some type of mental illness. Like they and there's if they're smoking weed, but they can't afford to see a psychiatrist or something like that, like, and a lot of times when people are suffering from mental health crises, like they don't necessarily have the mental awareness or the mental capacity to always even get the appropriate help for themselves, so oftentimes people will like search around their environment, what can they get directly for themselves, and oftentimes like you already know somebody who like can get you some weed or something like that, so like these crucial discussions, like where we increase like the education, where we can actually like increase access to like resources at whatever level a person's at, but like so that they're making an informed choice no matter where they're at, like on this ladder of like needing help. Like it can allow cannabis to remain like balance, recognizing both the potential risks, like, you know, if you're suffering from like severe anxiety, like smoking a bunch of green crack might not be like the thing for you. I think it seems kind of obvious, like for some, but for others maybe not. You know, and also we gotta like be able to support ongoing research, like to fully understand like the impacts. Like, you know, a balanced view like will encourage like more informed decision making by both policymakers and consumers. Now, now talking like that being said, like there's six things that I saw as being like major like contrast like with the broader scope of research, and I think that there's like and also just like all their biases and how they're interpreting data. They first of all the first thing is that they had I think what I saw as a major misconception of addiction, and also an overstatement of risk. Like this article asserts that a high prevalence of cannabis use disorder was based on survey data. However, defining addiction solely based on frequency of use without considering the impact on daily functioning can inflate these numbers like crazy. Remember what I was talking about, guy? The criteria was made so that you could include like the largest number of people under this as possible. It's important to distinguish between dependence and problematic use that negatively impacts a person's life. Okay, all right. So like the DSM-5, right? The Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Health Disorders or mental disorders. That criteria for substance use disorders requires more than frequent use, such as a failure to fulfill like major role obligations at work, school, or home due to your substance use, which like the article did not talk about at all. And that right there, like I think, like it should be like the first red flag on that article. The fact that they didn't even want to go into detail about that other part, like even the stuff I just mentioned. And there's 11 criteria. Also, right, comparison with like other substances. This article it highlighted the harms of cannabis, but there was no comparative analysis with like other legal substances like alcohol and tobacco, which have well documented way more severe health impacts and higher rates of addiction, like way higher rates of addiction. Like alcohol, for instance, is responsible for over 88,000 deaths yearly in the United States. Deaths directly attributed to alcohol, okay, this includes deaths from chronic diseases and acute overdoses. Okay, all right, this isn't like, oh, I got drunk and got into a car accident, because then that number would skyrocket. All right, like that alone, just from people consuming alcohol, right, from chronic disease like cirrhosis, like hepatic shock, and acute overdoses like alcohol poisoning, has over 88,000 deaths every single year. Okay, and that's an impact that is far exceeding that of cannabis. Okay, right. Third thing, right? Cannabinoid hypermeiosis syndrome. While CHS, okay, is a real and serious condition, I've seen it in action. I had a friend that like had it. It affects a very small percentage of people, primarily those who consume cannabis very, very heavily and very frequently. Emphasizing cannabis hypermeiosis syndrome without noting its rarity relative to the number of cannabis users can create a disproportionate fear. That is just straight up fear mongering right there. Okay, like there's so many people that get bogusly diagnosed with cannabis hypermeiosis syndrome, like when they do not fit the criteria for it. If you got a little stomach ache, like cannabis hypermeiosis syndrome is very, very, very severe. It involves projectile vomiting. It involves severe, like, body crippling cramps. The only thing that makes it feel better is heat, like a hot shower specifically. Eating is not a possibility. It's like you're suddenly very, very ill. And it only happens when you're actively like smoking weed, like getting high, once the high is like out of your system, then like the sensation goes away, and like there's a lot of speculation about how it interacts. Like I think it might have something to do with the hypothalamus, that regulates the heat in our body. Like it's causing some type of flip. You know how like some people like, I mean, this is just my opinion at this point, but this is also someone like I had an knowledge as a counselor as a part of my major. I'd studied neuroscience extensively. Like it could be a flipping, like, you know, oh no, like a. No, I don't want to talk too much on it. It's getting late. So the syndrome is manageable. Like outside of its rarity, it's manageable by ceasing cannabis use, and like which contrasts with so many conditions like caused by alcohol, for example, and prescription drugs, where ceasing the drug does not necessarily reverse the condition. You know, you don't keep getting like hypermesis like when you don't consume cannabis. And also like like where cannabis like differs again from alcohol, when you do like you get hypermesis and you stop using cannabis, right? Unlike alcohol, you're not going to go into like shock from not having it in your system. Whereas alcohol, if you developed a condition where if you consumed alcohol, like you got really, 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 really sick, and it came from like consuming heavy amounts of alcohol for long periods of time, just like with cannabis hypermesis, that means basically you're screwed. Because if the only cure is that you have to stop drinking alcohol, well, the other thing that happens much more commonly with alcohol is that like if you consume like for a long enough period of time at like large amounts, you become dependent on, to the extent that if you try to stop drinking alcohol suddenly and abruptly, you could die. That's what, like, that's crazy, right? I have lost friends to such a thing, like they had to stop they had to stop alcohol because they had to like go serve some time, like, so they tried to stop before they went, and like they tried working like with the courts, like so they would only have to go in for a few days at a time because of the disease that they have, that the doctors like were acknowledging it. Didn't matter. But moving on, right? So next point, I think we're at like 5, I think, right? 4 or 5. Right? So they're talking about psychosis and mental health claims, okay? Guys, like, ugh. All right. Claims linking cannabis use to psychosis and other severe mental health disorders like need real careful interpretation. Like, most research agrees that there is a correlation, particularly among those predisposed to mental health disorders or those like who start using cannabis at a very young age. However, correlation does not imply causation, and many factors, including like genetic predisposition, like concurrent use of other substances, like they all play a role. Like, I mean, there's like a very complex relationship that's going on that really oftentimes is getting oversimplified, particularly here in discussions about cannabis related risks. And another thing that like a lot of times gets overlooked is a lot of these mental health disorders, particularly among the realm of schizophrenia. It has been found that all of the antipsychotics that have been traditionally and still are currently prescribed for schizophrenia and schizo-related conditions actually worsen and worsen the condition and cause a progression of the disease to accelerate. like when they compare people like who have not taken it versus people who start taking it and then stop taking it, the people who start taking it, stop taking it, their progression like skyrockets past the people who hadn't taken it. Like you're basically like better off trying to manage it yourself without using medications. Yet like what they're accusing cannabis of is exactly the same thing. Like that using cannabis can cause a sudden progression, especially if you have gaps where you can't use it, or if you're using like cultivars that are causing like an increase in certain like comorbidities like anxiety. But you know, keep them ignorant and they'll never know how to fix themselves. Moving on. All right. So another issue is the lack of context and also oversight in their reporting. This article discusses the rise in cannabis-related hospital visits and health problems without any kind of adequate context about the broader accessibility and increased reporting following legalization. And as cannabis becomes less stigmatized, more individuals are likely to seek help for related issues, which is potentially inflating perceived increases in cannabis-related health problems. It's like kind of like one of the reasons why they don't bother trying to like outlaw salvia like more, or like mad honey or stuff like that, because they know that the second they try to like outlaw it, they have to make an announcement so that everyone knows that the substance is outlawed, which is also going to tell more people that it exists. So they just rather just like not say anything at all and just hope that like that it stays in relative obscurity of use. You know, this one, in fact, again, this one is the last one. This is like my sixth critique, and that is also and that is like policy and regulatory challenges. These people in this article like criticize the regulatory frameworks for cannabis, which is a valid concern. Right now, the MSOs are running amok and doing all kinds of like wild crap, while like the local like producer and like consumers are really just being treated as like second-class citizens. However, you know, the slow federal response and stringent regulations on cannabis like research like have hampered the development of comprehensive guidelines and deeper understanding of both the benefits and risks of cannabis use. This is a regulatory failure rather than an inherent danger of the substance itself. Right. So while this article that like raises like some valid concerns, give it a read. It'll probably piss you off a little bit, but give it a read. Like, it is valid concerns about the potential risks associated with cannabis use, especially in high doses or among vulnerable populations. It also is blowing these way out of proportion. They're amplifying all of these risks without any type of like sufficient contextual or like comparative like analysis at all. This is literally just them fear mongering and lampooning like cannabis. This reeks like anti-cannabis lobbying like all day long. Just like I said, just like how these other articles that we mentioned are good for like talking points for like or sharing with politicians, like when you're trying to like talk to your local politicians or you send them emails or whatever, like they're sharing these types of articles with them. But this is the people that are anti-cannabis. They're sharing articles like this too, and they'll be like, look, see how bad it is. Look at this article that the New York Times did. And, you know, like the New York Times, like they're super blue. So you know if they say it's bad, like, it's gotta be these people are bought and paid for, man. These people like that, they're despicable. They took a lot of these people's stories and they twisted it into this like dark narrative where like cannabis is some type of boogeyman, and in no way was there any type of like balance. Like that, like I keep saying it over and over and over, because like that's like there's nothing about it like is but like balanced reporting like should provide a comprehensive view of both the risks and benefits, informed by a broad spectrum of scientific research and public like health data. Not this lampooning like sob story of people that had bad experiences with their bud tenders. I mean, but at the same time though, like those types of stories, they need to be known so that like people know to train your GD bud tenders. Like it is not hard to do. I mean, I'll do it. Like I'm telling you. Like yes, going out and trying to find the education for yourself like can be kind of difficult. That's why like folks like myself exist. There's stuff you want to learn more about, like like drop a comment, send a message. Like and then we educate on it. Now so I'm gonna roll through some of these comments here. Mark, I love the first comment. You said, alcohol use goes down. Yes, sir. When you legalize, that's what happens. Right? Oh, yeah, I'm with you, Roger. Yeah. And with the pharmaceutical pills, and it's how they just like, yeah, just like the side effects are just awful. Yeah. Mark, Mark says that like hypermesis is being reported more in emergency rooms. Yes. It's like it's been just happening all over the place. Yeah, they are. New York Times, the CIA rag of choice. Absolutely they are. Yeah, it's like a war on the natural. Like Roger said, they have been against anything natural for over 100 years. They demonized natural medicine from the start. Yeah. Roger said, I smoke massive amounts of weed, never seen it cause anything but hunger, sleep, and occasional anxiety. Yeah, guys, and I mean, I think Roger, he is a busy, active man that like he is a go-getter. Like you couldn't say that like, oh yeah, weed makes you like lazy and unproductive. Like Roger say like, here, hold my joint. It's a Marcia newbie ingenious. Oh yeah, eating 500 milligrams and then greening out. Yeah. Oh my. I wish that people would get better warnings like with these big doses. Like, and I'll have the conversation every single time. Like I give someone like edibles, like we have a convo about like what they're used to. And sometimes I won't give it to them if I've got strong edibles and they can't reasonably tell me. Because I don't want to accidentally like get them way too high. Roger said he had a 500 milligram brownie at an airport in California, and then his flight got delayed. He had the longest day ever in the airport. yo, man, I had a really terrible experience like on a plane with like I think like 700-800 milligrams. It was awful. Yeah, man. Oh yeah, cannabis, especially topicals for arthritis. Like, oh my gosh, like topical cannabis is like literally just it's so amazing for arthritis. What? Drink a liter of gin straight, and I bet I bet on a puking fit. Oh my God, yeah, yeah. So Mark said he said he had a friend that was being prescribed multiple antipsychotics, antidepressants, and the cocktails of chemicals. They wrecked his life. Luckily, he stopped taking everything and improved dramatically. It all started with Anslinger. They're not connected. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing is a lot of times I think we get carried away because with like a lot of like drugs with mental health particularly, once you find something that works, they're kind of scared to go away from it. So even if it starts to cause problems, they want to give you something else. Like, and then some of them you have to let them build up a therapeutic strength. So you have to take them for a few weeks for it to really start working appropriately. So if you take something for like a little while and then it's not working, like then you have to stop taking it for like a little bit, and then you basically are putting yourself in like a chemical spiral because you have to let it get out of your system before you go into the next one. So if you're on one and it took a few weeks to get you on it, and then you want to like something, another problem pops up, sometimes it's just easier just to like, oh, here, we'll like prescribe this for that. Hey, I'll get another kickback. Right, your insurance will cover it, don't worry about it. But these all started with Anslinger like 80 years ago. So public programming began with Reefer Madness. We've seen this for decades or some form thereof. Okay. Wow, 75? 75 will definitely get me there. I've had Arliss give me edibles too much. If you've been watching Arliss's Facebook story, you'll know that his edibles like tend to go a little hard. Man, honestly, it goes back even further than Anslinger. It goes all the way back to the Opium Wars in the 1800s. That's when the first like bout of like misinformation started. Because while the Opium Wars that eventually led to like the 1900s and the Chinese Exclusion Act, which evolved into the Opium Exclusion Act, which was the groundwork for like the Marijuana Tax Act. The East India Trading Company that was growing the opium in China illegally, when they went to get Britain involved to like start the Opium Wars, the first Opium Wars, when China like told them to stop growing opium in their fields, like it's kind of a gray area like what was said, but like being that opium wasn't exactly like legal like throughout the world really too much, it was just like tolerated, that they could have just as easily have been spreading like propaganda like then of some kind. Actually, wait a minute. No. Man, I'm high. I think I'm just having a high speculation, and I'm realizing there's certain logical points that shouldn't have been made. No. As far as Anslinger and for the U.S., yeah, we were definitely an experiment as far as like the Opium Exclusion Act goes. That evolved out of the Chinese Exclusion Act. That was the first thing. Like they did the Chinese Exclusion Act, as a means of trying to see if they could like solidify the sovereignty of their country by excluding like a group of people that was unwanted there, because just to see if they could do it. And they also were like curious if they could do that to black people too. I bet. Like that part's my personal like curiosity. But they tried that. China, which at the point that they did that in like the early 20th century, like early 1900s, China was already starting to grow in power, and they said like, the hell you are like excluding Chinese? Like what type of racist shit is that? And they were like, ooh. So the Chinese Exclusion Act started between like 1903 and 1907, and then by 1911, the Chinese Exclusion Act had expired, and then they restarted the Opium Exclusion Act, which was basically the same exact act, but they just changed the word Chinese to opium. and they found that they could definitely persecute all the Chinese people they wanted with the opium. And because China was already against opium, they were like, yeah, cool, fuck opium. So they like went hard in the yard against everyone that was doing opium, like mostly Chinese people, but also people that it's like, okay, Chinese people brought in a lot of opium into the country when they were coming to work the railroads. Like the plot to Shanghai Nights, or no wait, Shanghai Noon, like with Jackie Chan and Owen Wilson. That's not entirely accurate, but the part about the fact that there were Chinese slaves building the railroad, that part was accurate. But a lot of them were hooked on opium because a lot of them were hooked on opium from the opium wars, because like the reason why the East India Trading Company was growing opium in China and getting people hooked on opium in China while also spreading opium all over the world. Well, a lot of those Chinese people that China, the government, did not want, because they did not want that addiction. Well, when they wanted slaves from China, they were like, here, take our opium addicts. A large part of their workforce. So we had a lot of people that were addicted to opium that came over, and those people, like, granted, they say addicted, not like junkies though, but like people being productive, because in this point in time there was no such thing as narcotics crimes. Yes, opium in itself wasn't exactly legal, but at the same time you yourself couldn't go to jail just for using opium, or any drug really. Well, this changed with the Opium Exclusion Act. When they did that, they started arresting people for having opium, basically saying you're not allowed to possess opium in the United States, and if you do, you're going to jail. And when they found that it worked and that no other countries had a problem with it, they were like, now we can use this to kick other people out. We got the Chinese out with that and persecuted them, and basically if we didn't kick them out, we marginalized the shit out of them. Now let's get the Mexicans. And they were like, well, what do the Mexicans do? And I was like, well, the Mexicans, the only thing that they really do is they like to smoke cannabis. While at this point in the United States, while there were people that consumed cannabis that smoked, there were people that smoked it, sure. But most people use cannabis as tinctures and as medicines, as edibles, stuff like that, just tinctures, like medicine cabinet type stuff. But most but it wasn't over 50% of U.S. households. But a lot of Mexican immigrants, to say immigrants because the border was just established over top of them. But they're smoking weed, and the funny thing is that they didn't even really call it marijuana like that either, but they needed to come up with a way to demonize it properly, and then we get into the anslinger, into all that other stuff, and it starts to the insidiousness of taking a drug to persecute people, because then they realized you could now use weed really indiscriminately because so many people use it. You could just to persecute who you want, because at the end of the day, laws are not applied equally. They're applied how the people applying them see fit. Oh, topical on varicose veins, huh? No shit. Topical on varicose veins to help them dissipate in your ankle, like a dispensary topical or topical you made. Yep, yeah, military strategy. But I'm curious about this varicose veins, because I'm low-key scared of those. Yeah, I need to know more about that. Yeah. Well, I mean, people fear groups that they don't have implicit control over. And the United States is trying to establish itself as an everyman country. Oh, I mean, in disguise. Yeah, man. Honestly, I feel like like we're a giant experiment, and maybe the U.S. was even made in like a flashpoint, like the Flash's flashpoint. You know, watch like the Flash with the comics or anything. Yeah, never mind. Man, dude, these Shackalicious gummies go so daggone hard. I am actually genuinely shocked and amazed. I am enjoying eating Shaq's face this much. Really? I gave it to you for your mom at Valley View Area Tobacco Shop. Like a CBD salve or like a full spectrum like THC salve? Or like a THC haze salve? Which, believe it or not, THCA has topical benefits that are a little different from like the non-acid form THC. They're medicated. Okay. Huh. How about that? How about that? Yeah. I'll check that out. Man, cause yeah, man, varicose veins are crazy. I mean, I don't have any. I think one time I was like looking at my leg one time while I was sitting down, and I noticed what like could have been one, and then like I started like stretching like more and like focusing on that leg more and like doing yoga, and that helped it some. So I wonder if like the varicose veins comes from just like tension and stuff, like in the like ligaments or I don't know, man. I don't know. That's just crazy. Okay. So, all right, we're gonna do one more rip, and then we're gonna call it a night. And for this one, got a little tipski. I'm sure everyone on this feed presently knows how to do this, but for anyone who ends up watching later or happens to not know this cool little tip for your concentrates, this is a really, really good way to make sure that you get the most out of your concentrates. Here now, this will bring our attention to view the screen right here. Okay, so we'll check to see what our flower levels are. I feel like that's enough for a bowl. Yeah, we might add that into it perhaps. All right, so I've got like the end of some really, really, really amazing, lemon cherry sherbet shatter that I got from my boy Dewey. And I had just transferred because it started to sugar up like crazy, so I started to transfer the last of it, not the last, but to a little jar, so like I could like preserve it a bit better. Like, I mean, having it in a Mylar like for a short period is nice and it's convenient, but like it smells so nice. The way it was evolving, like, and how slowly I was going through it, I knew I wanted to like keep it a little bit restored. But once I got it all off, I still have this extra bit right here, right? And I have like in the past, I've seen people like with like a tool trying to like scrape this last bit off, doing all this extra stuff to try and get it, or like, or even people just like try to like just throw it away or whatever. But something I like to do here is like I take my weed and then I just kind of bap. I just kind of toss it on. And now that I've done that, I can kind of see that I'm going to want a little bit more. Maybe. Let's see if I can. Yeah. Actually, hold on. Can I finger grind this? Oh, yeah, I can finger grind this. Alright, so yeah, go ahead and finger grind. This right here. It's a little chunky. I probably would have been better off. But all right, so I got that on there. Okay, And then what I will do, roll up the sleeve, boop, boop. Right? And I will then proceed to drag this along the side here. And you'll notice already that don't look the same. Now we'll drag this along. Okay. Now look over. Look at that. Right, that is pretty much gone. There is a very, very tiny amount left there, but it's all sticking to this flower. Flower, haha, perfect sponge for this type of stuff. Now, what I will then do with this, after I have finished a little bit right there. And unfortunately, like with this type of like paper, like this wax, or not wax, parchment, like I mean, it just wants to let it go. But when we do that, okay. All right, look at that. We've almost got all of it up. Now, how much this picked up is would probably amount to like a dab. There we go. Okay, so now we take this, right? Now that this is like most stuff, I know it's like it shows like there's still some little bit of plant matter like sticking on there, but like it's, you see like the shine on it, like it is gone. It's like it's pretty much like all removed. There's like very little of this left. And this here is now like really, really, really resinous. Oh no! I don't want to turn it fully into the moon rock. Actually, I want to keep it the way it is. And if I did this right, it'll be pretty well integrated. And it'll still burn pretty well. Actually, we'll find out. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Oh, yeah. Where are you at? Yeah, the double rip. Okay, time for the jubblies. All right. Yeah, now for this one, I think I will use the torch just because I can control that part a little bit better. Yeah, this one is probably going to whip my ass. Do a little sip before we rip, you know, keep it all THC right now. Or I guess CBD. This is CBD as well. Yeah. Cheers, you guys. shack things are so good. Oh my god. No. I've never seen them before. But they're on in a store on 81. I think when we're in like the West Virginia section of 81. Yeah. Okay. Man. I am super duper faded right now. This Tangie Haze, very nice. I mean, especially like with that concentrate, oh my gosh, that lemon cherry sherbet mixing with the Tangie Haze created such an amazing flavor. It was so smooth. It was so delicious. So much mango. So like all the citrus started to come out. It was really just a transcendent flavor. Like, oh my gosh, that was so good. Oh yeah, have a good night, Mark. And yeah, actually, I think I will also call it, guys. I love you all. And I appreciate you all for sticking it out here with me tonight and checking out what we got going on here. We got a new year rolling, and while it probably would have made more sense to do it tonight, but if I think for the next episode, rather than like talk about news stories and whatnot, I'm going to go over some of my favorite cultivars of like the last year. I tend to keep samples of most stuff that I really liked. But yeah, that's what I think that's what we'll do for next week, unless something like better comes up. But I look forward to that. There'll be lots of toking in it. I will be taking a hit of everything that we go over, and I will not be too skimpy on looking through my favorites. So yes, much love, you guys. This was Enki's CannaCult. Make sure that you take time for yourself every day. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe, so that you can stay up with my content, because I also post to my Enki's CannaCult Facebook group, Facebook page, like daily. Oh shoot, I forgot to post to Twitter today. Ooh, Twitter did not get the live stream. That's okay. But make sure that you are making time for yourself every day. This is a new year. Embrace it. This is going to be great for cannabis.